I will never leave your husband alone because he's my best friend. I was the side chick in my own marriage. My husband was more in love with his female best friend than he was with me. On Valentine's Day, he bought her diamonds, flowers that read, "You are the only woman who understands me," and a brand new iPhone. He bought me a blender. And I did nothing. I stayed quiet. I accepted everything, until he made a decision that ruined my life. But before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos, and comment where you're watching from. I want to know which part of the world my story has reached. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anyone watching from a distance would have thought the wedding was unfolding exactly as it should. But they would have been wrong. The bride stood alone, hands folded, staring as her husband danced with a woman in white who wasn't her. He was dancing with his female best friend. To understand how a bride could stand alone at her own wedding and watch another woman dance with her husband as if they were the ones married, we have to go back. Clarara's friends often said, if anybody quiet passes you, their life won't spoil. That was exactly who she was: soft-spoken, meek, and non-confrontational. Too gentle. Afraid of conflict. If she went to a restaurant, ordered jollof rice and turkey, and was served pounded yam and a gussie instead, she wouldn't complain. She would stare at the plate for a moment, shrug, and think, well, I haven't eaten this in a while. At work, when colleagues dumped extra tasks on her or blamed her for mistakes that weren't hers, Clarara simply smiled and accepted it. She stayed late, carried the burden, and said nothing, because speaking up meant conflict, and conflict was something she had been trained to avoid. That training came from her mother. A good woman, she was told, should be soft, meek, and mostly silent, especially in marriage. Marriage, in her mother's eyes, was the greatest achievement a woman could have. So when David asked for Clarara's hand, her mother was overjoyed. Whatever you do, she told her, do everything you can to keep him. And so Clarara did. When she entered the relationship and realized she wasn't just with David, but with David and Linda, she said nothing. She remained the same non-confrontational Clarara. David, in his early 30s, was already a senior manager at an oil firm. Brilliant at work, careless with emotions. He enjoyed being admired by two women. He loved the contrast between Clarara, the quiet, obedient wife, and Linda, the vibrant, confident friend. He always reassured Clarara that she was the one he loved. But his actions toward Linda told a different story. Linda had met David around the same time Clarara did. Everyone expected him to choose her. She matched his personality perfectly: loud, confident, exciting. So when he chose Clarara instead, people were shocked. Privately, his friends joked that Linda was the real wife, and Clarara was just the backup actress in a long Nigerian rom-com. If marriage is hard with two people, imagine when there are three, especially when the one treated like the wife isn't even legally married. Linda always found a reason to show up. Dinner dates, she'd coincidentally be at the same restaurant and slide into the seat beside David. Quiet Sundays at home, she'd appear bored and needing company. When David returned from trips, Linda would be there to pick him up, claiming she missed her friend. Then came Valentine's Day. David bought Linda diamonds, a brand new iPhone, and a bouquet of flowers with a note that read, "To the only woman who understands me." He bought Clarara a blender. When she questioned it, he laughed it off. "You're not materialistic anyway," he said. "Besides, you're always complaining that we need a blender." And Clarara watched. She said nothing, but she was slowly dying inside. Linda also dropped inappropriate jokes like they meant nothing. "David, marriage has really tamed you," she teased. "If it were me living here, this place would never be this quiet. And I'm not just talking about talking." Clarara's stomach twisted. She looked at David, hoping he'd stop it. He just laughed. "Don't worry, babe," he said. "She's joking." It wasn't Linda's jokes that hurt the most. It was David's laughter. His excuses. His constant insistence that it was harmless. Clara carried the weight of a marriage where her voice didn't matter. She didn't know that every silence has an expiration date. It was their anniversary. David was barely home. Always busy. Always unavailable. Clara said nothing. She decided to make the day special anyway. He sent only a short happy anniversary text that morning, but she took it as enough. She prepared a candlelit dinner, cooked his favorite meals, set the table with care, hoping the night might bring them back together. When the door opened, her hope collapsed. David walked in with Linda beside him, her arm casually hooked through his. David rushed to explain. They had run into each other. Linda's mother was nearby. She needed to avoid her. He thought it would be fine if she joined them for dinner. Clara swallowed the word no and nodded. Yes. David noticed the candles. Oh, were you planning something? Yes, Clara said quietly. It's our anniversary. How cute, Linda said. I hope you cooked enough for 3. She sat beside David deliberately. David laughed and went to shower. Do you want company? Linda asked lightly. Clara froze. It's just a joke, David said. You know how Linda is. During dinner, David and Linda laughed, shared memories, spoke a language Clara wasn't part of. Then Linda smiled. The food is nice, she said. But next time, ask me for the recipe. David likes mine better, don't you? David hesitated. Yeah, hers is better. Something broke. If you don't like the food, Clara said, trembling, you shouldn't have come to a dinner you weren't invited to. Linda laughed. Oh. Gentle Clara finally found her voice. David snapped. Why are you acting like a jealous brat? He left with Linda that night. 3 days later, Clara collapsed. At the hospital, the doctor said calmly, you fainted from stress and exhaustion. It's common in early pregnancy. She was 3 weeks pregnant. David never knew. Until the lake. Until the water. Until he chose Linda first. Clara survived. The baby didn't. In the hospital, Clara finally spoke. We're getting a divorce. And for the first time in her life, she didn't whisper. She rose. She healed. She reclaimed her voice. Years later, when she saw David again, she felt nothing. And that destroyed him. Thank you so much for watching. What did you learn from this story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We remain African Folktale Nation, bringing you the most powerful African stories, modern and ancient. Equals.